So we're going to go ahead and start again here.
Muy buenos
Because
días,
I was interrupted.
señor presidente. Es un honor
It's
participar en la
Mr.
presentación
President,
de la iniciativa Spotlight en representación del secretario de Relaciones Exteriores, Marcelo Ebrard. La promoción y la protección de los derechos humanos es uno de nuestros principios de política exterior. Ello exige, desde luego, la adopción e instrumentación de una agenda transversal de género.
It is a agenda that transverses gender,
comprometida con la igualdad.
that is combined or mixed in or compromised with equality.
La violencia contra
The
las mujeres
violence
es
against
un
women
problema
is
grave.
a grave
A nivel
problem.
mundial, por citar solo una cifra, ONU Mujeres
On a-
reporta que una de cada 3 mujeres
One
ha
out of
sufrido
every
violencia
3 women
física o
has
sexual
suffered
por parte de su compañero.
violence by
En México, la violencia
their
contra las mujeres y las niñas
partner.
lastima a nuestra sociedad.
the violence against women and girls injures our society.
La encuesta nacional sobre la
The
dinámica de
national
las relaciones
inquest regarding
en los hogares de 2016 del
relations
INEGI
in
estableció que el
families
66% de
that
las mujeres ha sufrido por lo menos
66%
un
of
incidente
women
de
had
violencia
suffered at least
emocional,
one
económica,
violent
física,
situation,
sexual o de
physical,
discriminación
economical, or discrimination
en algún momento
in
de
a
su vida.
moment of their life.
Sabemos
We know
que para alcanzar
that to
las metas de
reach that
inclusión
goal
y
of
bienestar social
inclusion, of
que este gobierno se ha
inclusion and social well-being,
fijado,
this government
tenemos que
has
hacer frente al reto estructural que
taken on
representa la
this
violencia contra la mujer.
structural setup that protects the women's rights.
Señor presidente,
President,
este es el contexto en
this
que hoy
is
se
the
presenta
context that
esta
today
iniciativa, la iniciativa
we are presenting this initiative,
Spotlight,
the
que busca
spotlight
prevenir y
that
combatir
is
los feminicidios y la
preventing,
violencia
that seeks to prevent feminicide and crimes against women,
contra las mujeres a partir de un enfoque integral que
based on a integral focus
involucre actores de todos los órdenes nacionales
from all the national
de
orders
gobierno y,
and
por
government,
supuesto, a la
of
sociedad
course,
civil.
civil,
La iniciativa es
social,
ejemplo y resultado de
civil
nuestro
liberty,
compromiso con la cooperación internacional.
and also with the cooperation of international cooperation.
6 agencias,
6
en
agencies
colaboración con el gobierno de
collaborated
México,
with the government
ONU
of
Mujeres,
Mexico,
el Programa de las Naciones Unidas para el Desarrollo,
and that are programs that are united to protect women's rights.
el Fondo de
And
Población
the
de las Naciones
development
Unidas, el
of
Fondo de Naciones Unidas
So he's naming all the funds of United Nations,
para la Infancia, el
infants,
Alto Comisionado para los Derechos Humanos
and an act that is commissioned for the rights
de la ONU,
of
la Oficina de
ONU,
las Naciones
and-
Unidas contra la Droga y el Delito,
and then the one that is done for against drugs and crimes,
y por supuesto
And
nuestros
of course,
socios de la Unión Europea que nos
our partners from the European nation
acompañan esta
that are
mañana.
joining us today.
Este proceso se deriva de un proceso de diálogo.
This
en el que
process
por
is
parte de la
a
Cancillería
process of
participó mi colega, la
dialogue
subsecretaria de Asuntos Multilaterales y Derechos Humanos,
that is multilateral rights, human rights.
Marta Delgado, el director general de Derechos Humanos de la Cancillería,
So
Christopher
he's naming
Ballinas y
the
sus
different
equipos de
people that are
trabajo
involved
en
in
la
different
Cancillería,
levels.
sumando esfuerzos con las agencias que encabezan
I think
este gran
he's naming all the
esfuerzo.
guys and
En
women
todo
that are
momento
sitting
fue
there.
claro el compromiso de todas las
And
dependencias
so-
federales participantes y más adelante bajo el liderazgo de la señora
So he's mentioning that they're all involved and they're working together as a team to end violence and crime against women and all the other departments that they've named.
la secretaria de Gobernación, presentaremos mayores detalles sobre esta iniciativa. México es un convencido
Mexican
promotor del sistema multilateral y de la colaboración,
is a convinced, how should I say, activist in the protection, multilateral,
con las Naciones
with the
Unidas. Sus
United
agencias,
Nations.
programas y entidades
Their agencies, programs, and entities
tienen una gran
have a
capacidad
great
técnica y facilitan
technical
el intercambio de
capacity, and they facilitate the exchange or interchange of
mejores prácticas.
better
El trabajo
practices.
que encabeza la ONU Mujeres en este ámbito
The program ONU Ámbito
merece nuestro reconocimiento y apoyo.
deserves our recognition and apoyo. I cannot think of the word apoyo. Oh my God. It's to back somebody up, but I can't think of the actual translation. Support for. Support.
Con la Unión Europea trabajamos conjuntamente sobre la base de
So,
valores
with the European Union, we are working together with the base of values
y principios
and
compartidos.
principles that are
Tenemos una
shared.
amplia agenda bilateral,
We have an ample bilateral agenda
un diálogo global que
and
incluye en la promoción
global dialogue that
y
includes
protección de los derechos
the promotion and protection of the rights
humanas.
uh,
En nombre de la Secretaría de Relaciones Exteriores,
in name of the secretary. I was trying to turn on my thing. It's been burning up in here. Sorry, but I had to turn that on because I was burning up already. Okay. So I'm going to put this back on. So I have another computer that I'm translating on. And I'm trying to slow this down because sometimes it seems so rushed to me.
Exteriores, le agradezco, señor presidente, el compromiso de nuestros socios internacionales.
So he's saying he appreciates the so he's grateful for the that the United European nations are trying to help and unite with them to fight or combat this problem
Nacionales en este importante esfuerzo.
in
Muchas
this
gracias.
important battle. Now, looks like the president stood up to say hello.
Enseguida, el señor Stefano Manservisi, director general de Cooperación Internacional y Desarrollo de la Comisión
you can hear
Europea,
who he said.
dirigirá unas palabras.
He's going to be directing some words.
Muy buenos días, señor presidente
Hello,
de la
President.
República, señor secretario general adjunto de las Naciones Unidas, querida
from
Funsile,
the United
señor
Nations.
subsecretario de Relaciones Exteriores, señor titular de la CONADIM, señor presidente del Instituto Nacional de las Mujeres, señoras y señores. Es para mí
So he's saying hi to
un gran
everybody.
honor y un verdadero placer estar con todos ustedes hoy en México.
He says that for him it's a great pleasure to be with everyone here in Mexico
Y en tan distinguido lugar para participar en la
in
presentación
such a distinct, or how shall I say, distinguido. What's a good word for distinguido? Let me look that up. Distinguido. Distinguished. Oh, such an easy translation. I couldn't think of it.
de Spotlight.
For the distinguished presentation of Spotlight.
Iniciativa mundial destinada a impactar en la vida
This is a worldwide program that is designed to impact the lives of
de las mujeres y la
women
sociedad en
and
general.
society in general.
No hay desarrollo si seguimos
there is no development if we
con
continue
la violencia
with the
contra las mujeres. Es
violence
imposible
against women.
pensar
It's
en la
impossible.
implementación de la Agenda 2030
It's impossible to continue with Agenda 23
y un mundo más justo si
with
nos
a more
enfrentamos
just
este problema
world if we don't attend to this problem
de violencia y
of
de
violence. And
México y Unión Europea somos
so Mexicans and the European Union
socios
are
estratégicos.
socios. Now, see, that's another word I couldn't think of. I'm going to have to look it up. Sorry, guys. Socios. Socios. Partners. My goodness, that's the second time I haven't understood the word partner. Okay, socio is a partner. So they're partners in this fight.
No solo compartimos una larga trayectoria histórica,
Not only do we have do we share or are partners in this trajectory that is very long,
política,
political,
social,
social,
económica y cultural,
economical and cultural,
sino sobre todo los
but
valores y
also
principios
the-
para un modelo
the values and the principles for a model
de sociedad
of a
democrática,
social
solidaria,
democracy
libre, con el ser
free,
humano en el centro de nuestra
with the human in the center of our
de nuestra preocupación.
our
Los derechos
preoccupation.
humanos y las
The,
libertades fundamentales
the human rights and the fundamental liberties
son la base de nuestra democracia
are the basis of our democracy.
y defenderlas pasa por luchar
And by defending those, you are fighting
conjuntamente contra la baja
jointly
mundial que representa la violencia
with the world group that represents
contra las mujeres.
fighting violence against women.
Para la Unión Europea,
For the
México
European
es un
Union,
socio estratégico.
they
En un
need
mundo
a
cada vez más polarizado,
social
y donde se
strategy
están poniendo en cuestión
where they are
principios básicos de
questioning
convivencia,
basic
tenemos ir de la mano
situations. They want to take,
en la promoción de temas multilaterales.
they are promoting a how shall I say, oh boy. They are promoting what's the other word?
De interés mutuo. En la
Anyway, so multicultural or multi-dynamic situation.
región trabajamos
In the
conjuntamente
region,
para
we're
lograr los
working
objetivos
together
de desarrollo
to bring to a culmination these
sostenible como base fundamental
as a
de la
base
democracia y la paz.
fund of peace.
La modernización
The
de nuestro
modern-
acuerdo global
I have a little bit of a hard time understanding his Spanish. It's got a very strong lisp, sounds very Spaniard, I think.
cual es el marco para este trabajo.
So they're saying this is the model for this type of work.
Spotlight se inscribe
Spotlight
en esta agenda positiva. Es
Is subscribed to this positive agenda.
una iniciativa mundial para un problema
on
global
this world problem, which actually is a global problem.
que reúne gobiernos de 5 continentes determinados a hacer cambiar
We
la
have
vida
5 continents that are determined to change the lives
de las mujeres
of
en sus
women
países
in their countries,
y en la concepción de las mujeres
and the conception that women
y de su rol en nuestra sociedad.
and their value in our societies.
Cuenta con la experiencia de las Naciones Unidas
You can count on the experience of the United Nations
y sus agencias
and
especializadas
their agencies that are specialized,
y muestras cómo compartimos valor básico
and will show you how we share basic values
Unión Europea y México,
in the Union of Mexico and Europe.
porque al final
Because
es un apoyo a
Because in the end, it is a apoyo. can't think of the word apoyo. You know, I'm having a lot of problems remembering just basic words. Support
a la política y
for
a un proyecto
politics
de México. No es
and
algo que
politics and the project of Mexico.
sale del exterior, es algo
That is something that has come from the exterior.
que sale del interior.
That
Una vida
regarding something that comes from the interior.
libre de violencia para las mujeres es el fundamento de una sociedad en paz. La
The fighting against violence against women is promotes a peaceful society,
paz es el pilar de desarrollo
and
y
peace
juntos
is the
podemos
pillar
cambiar
of
vidas. Muchas gracias.
development and affects people's lives, all our lives.
Escuchemos ahora a la señora Fumzile Mlambonguka, secretaria general adjunta de las
Now
Naciones
this lady
Unidas.
is going to speak in English, and they'll be translating to Spanish, so I'll be quiet during this part.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the government and cabinet of Mexico, my dear Nadine and former colleague, wonderful to see you in this position. Partners and colleagues from
Está
the
dándole
European Union,
saludos a todos los que están ahí en el panel.
colleagues from the UN system,
Están
our resident
nombrándolos a
coordinator,
todos.
and sister agencies. It's a real
Y
pleasure
agencias
for me
hermanas.
to be
Dice que
here.
es un placer
to
para ella
launch
estar ahí.
This very important initiative, Spotlight, which is a partnership
Dice
between
que este
the government
proyecto
of
es
Mexico,
una
the
hermandad entre
United
los
Nations
gobiernos
system,
y los
because many
Estados
agencies are
Unidos,
involved in this.
porque hay muchas
Even
agencias
the office of the
están en.
General Secretary is
Están,
involved in
Buenos
this.
días.
Ok, ya viene
It is
el
also
intérprete.
an initiative that also brings in civil society partners, and we have received general support of the European Union.
Buenos días, señor presidente Andrés Manuel López Obrador, distinguidos miembros del gabinete, representante de la Unión Europea, coordinador residente del Sistema de las Naciones Unidas en México, representante de InMujeres, Nadine, mis colegas de las agencias hermanas de Naciones Unidas, miembros de la prensa, señoras y señores. Es para mí un gran placer estar aquí presente en el lanzamiento de la iniciativa Spotlight en México.
This is to collaborate and to support the government of Mexico in its aim to put an end to femicide and other forms of violence against women. We recognize as international agencies that an injury to one girl and a woman is an injury to all of us.
Y es un placer colaborar con el gobierno de México para asegurarnos de que las mujeres y las niñas vivan una vida libre de violencia.
Globally, the Spotlight initiative focuses its efforts on the most prevalent form of violence in a particular region or a country. In Latin America, the initiative will focus specifically on femicide, given the high prevalence of this violation of women
So
in
I'm
Mexico.
going to let them translate, and I'm going to
A
go
nivel
deal
mundial,
with my
la
mother.
iniciativa Spotlight enfoca sus esfuerzos en las formas más prevalecientes de violencia. En América Latina, la iniciativa se centrará específicamente en el feminicidio, dada la incidencia elevada de este delito en la región.
We also recognize that Mexico is a leader in women's rights regarding all aspects of women's rights, not just the end of violence against women.
También reconocemos el liderazgo de México en términos de los derechos de las mujeres y de los demás derechos, no solamente lo que concierne a la violencia.
In 1975, Mexico hosted the first Women's World Conference, which was able to usher a period of significant focus on achieving the global rights for women.
En 1975, México celebró la Conferencia Mundial de las Mujeres, algo que representó sus esfuerzos y su compromiso por los derechos de las mujeres.
Through that first Women's Conference, global standards were set on rights of women.
A través de esta primera conferencia se establecieron normas mundiales para la protección de los derechos de las mujeres.
We are excited again that Mexico has also stepped up and will be co-hosting the 25-year celebration of the implementation of the Beijing Platform.
Y estamos muy felices de ver cómo México ha sido un impulsor de los derechos de las mujeres y ahora mismo que se celebran los 25 años después de la primera conferencia de Beijing.
And this will be in partnership with France.
Y esto se hace en colaboración con Francia.
Mexico has achieved gender parity in the legislative power and is moving forward towards parity at all levels of branches of the state through the amendment of its constitution.
México ha alcanzado la paridad de género a su nivel legislativo y avanza por tener esta paridad de género en todos los niveles del Estado.
And now, spotlight.
Y ahora, Spotlight.
No wonder that this is the right place for this initiative to be launched and to be implemented.
No hay duda de que estamos en el mejor sitio para lanzar la iniciativa Spotlight.
We are encouraged and aware of the government's clear commitment to eradicate all forms of violence against women and girls, as it was stated during the presentation of the emerging plan to guarantee the integrity, security, and life of women and girls.
Y estamos convencidos de que el Gobierno de México está comprometido con la erradicación de la violencia misma que se ve, esta iniciativa se ve en el Plan Nacional que presenta.
We are pleased overall at the government's National Development Plan strategy, which also demonstrates the commitment of the government to the 2030 agenda.
Y el gobierno, a través de su plan nacional, demuestra su compromiso con la Agenda 2030.
Gender equality is essential for progress to be made, both for Mexico and for the world.
La igualdad de género es esencial para el avance, para que México progrese y también para que el mundo sea un lugar mejor.
Spotlight is an idea whose time has come, and we're glad that we're here in Mexico to launch this, and we're grateful for the presence of the President to witness this moment. Thank you.
Ha llegado el momento de Spotlight y agradezco al presidente por permitirlo. Gracias.
Ahora, el licenciado Andrés Manuel López Obrador, presidente de los Estados Unidos Mexicanos, dirigirá un mensaje.
Amigas, amigos, muy breve, porque está expresado, está dicho lo fundamental. Tenemos el compromiso de buscar que cada vez más haya participación de las mujeres en todos los campos de la vida pública. Participación, garantía de sus derechos, sin titubeos, evitar la violencia contra
So
las
he wants
mujeres,
to end violence against women,
el maltrato,
against the
la discriminación.
discrimination and
Ese es un
abuse.
distintivo
That's the distinction
de nuestro gobierno.
of our government.
Estamos
We are-
comprometidos con eso desde
We
hace
have
mucho tiempo,
become
no solo cuando hemos estado en la oposición, sino
committed
también
to this
cuando hemos estado en el gobierno.
since we've been in government.
Así lo demuestra el hecho
That is how
que
it's been demonstrated
me
in the
tocó
act,
ser
as
jefe
in
de gobierno
when I took
en
government
la capital de la República.
in the
en esta
capital
ciudad.
government in this state.
La mayoría
The major
de los integrantes
of the integrant
del gabinete
of the cabinet
eran mujeres.
were females.
Estamos hablando de
We're talking about
2005.
2005. It
Ha pasado algún tiempo.
has been a while.
Ahora,
So now,
lo mismo.
the same.
Hay un equilibrio, ustedes lo han constatado
Uh-huh.
en el gabinete.
That there's a difference. You've seen it in the
Es
cabinet.
el mismo número de
It's
hombres
the same
que de mujeres. En el gabinete
number of
ampliado.
male and female
Teníamos hasta
employees.
hace unos días
Even up to recently, we
el
had
gabinete
a cabinet of
cercano,
close
8
that was
hombres,
8
8 mujeres,
and 8 males and 8
con
females.
necesidad de hacer unos cambios,
But recently had to make
pero
some changes. However,
siempre
but
se
always,
toma en cuenta
we always take into account
la paridad de género.
that there is a
Hemos
equality in
avanzado
gender.
también,
Also, we
y
have
eso es lo que
advanced
considero
in
más
what I
importante,
consider the most important,
en la participación de las
the
mujeres
participation
en
in
todos los
women
programas
in all programs
de bienestar.
regarding
Como
health
aquí
and well-being.
también
For example,
se
here,
ha
also there has been,
dejado de manifiesto.
it has been left as a manifesto.
Hay muchos programas
There's lots of programs
para jóvenes,
for young people,
para adultos
for
mayores.
older adults.
En el caso del
In the
programa de
case of the
adultos mayores,
program of older
que es
adults,
de
that
los más importantes,
it's one of the most important
porque consiste
because it consists of
en entregar una pensión
yeah,
universal
delivering a universal
a
pension
todos los adultos
to
mayores del
all
país.
adults. Older adults of the country are aged
8 millones
about 8 million
de 68
At-
años en adelante
from 68 years and
para la
above
población en general y para la población indígena
for the general public and for
de
the
los
indigent.
65 años.
For the indigent, it's 65.
En este
In this
programa,
program,
la mayoría
the major part
de
of
los beneficiarios
the beneficiaries
son mujeres.
are women.
Es una inversión
It's an investment
de
in
alrededor de 110
around
mil
110,000
millones de pesos
million
al año.
pesos annually.
Y
And
la mayor cantidad
the biggest
ancianas
quantity
adultas
goes to
mayores,
old female
respetables.
women,
Y así
respectively.
se
And that's
está
how we
llevando a cabo
are
hasta
taking
en
this into
programas que
account.
antes
Even in programs that before
solo
were only
iban dirigidos a los hombres,
directed towards
o
men,
donde
like,
había más
or where there was
predominio de los hombres.
predominantly male.
El caso del programa
Like in the
Sembrando
case
Vida,
of Sembrando Vida,
que es
as planting life,
eh,
that is,
sembrar
that it is to
1
plant
millón de hectáreas
a
de
million
árboles
hectares of
maderables y
trees
frutales.
and
Es trabajo en
trees,
el campo.
fruit trees, work in the camp,
Pues,
in the labor
como se ha
camp,
visto, también ya
or in the field.
porcentaje
There's a
importante son mujeres
percentage of them
las que están
is
trabajando
women that are working
en el campo.
in the fields.
En Oaxaca
In Oaxaca,
se está
there
aplicando un
is an
programa
application of a program
extraordinario
that is extraordinary
porque
because
Oaxaca
Oaxaca
ha conservado
has conserved
sus culturas,
its
sus
cultures,
tradiciones,
its traditions,
sus costumbres,
and its customs,
sus lenguas,
its tongues,
su organización
its organization, social organization, communitary.
Oaxaca
Oaxaca
tiene
has
mucha
a lot
cultura.
of culture.
Es de los pueblos con más cultura.
It's one of the
En el mundo.
most cultured places in the world.
Tienen gobiernos
Has governments
de usos y costumbres
of uses and customs
de los 570
of the 500
municipios de Oaxaca.
170 municipalities of
La
Oaxaca.
mayoría,
The major part,
417,
17,
son de usos y costumbres.
are uses and customs.
Y
And
todo se hace
all of it is done
con la participación
with the participation,
voluntaria
voluntary
lo que se
participation,
conoce como el
what
tequio.
is known as techno.
Las autoridades en
Authorities
estos
in
municipios
these
no
municipalities
cobran,
do not charge.
dan servicio
They give service
a la comunidad
to the community.
y
And
son de las mejores
they are among the
autoridades
best authorities
México.
of Mexico.
sobre todo
Overall,
por su honestidad.
because of their honesty.
De estos
From these
570
570
municipios,
municipalities,
hay como 300
there's about 300
municipios
municipalities
no hay camino
that there is no street
pavimentado
of pavement
a sus cabeceras municipales.
to their
Estamos
head
construyendo
areas. But we're constructing
Esos
these
300
300
caminos. Ya empezamos
roads, and we've already started.
con 50.
We've started with
ampliar
50,
a 25 más
and we're
este
going
año.
to amplify it to 25 more
Lo
this year.
importante
But the important part
es que se logró,
is that it was achieved
a pesar de la
even
normatividad
regarding the normal
y
activity
de las limitaciones
and the
burocráticas,
limitations, bureaucratic
que se
limitations,
entregara
that they were able
el
to
presupuesto a
give
las
the budget
autoridades.
to the authorities
Desde
from the
la tesorería de la
treasury of
que se les entregara a las
Confederation,
autoridades
that it was
de estos municipios y
given
sus
to the
costumbres
municipalities
su
and
dinero
governments.
para la
Their money
construcción
for the
los
construction,
caminos
for the roads,
de cemento, de
of
concreto, no con
cement,
maquinaria
pavement, not with
que
machinery
desplaza
that takes away
la mano de obra,
the labor,
sino con
but
revolvedoras,
with,
con
you know,
equipos
just basic
sencillos
equipment that
para el
they
uso
can
intensivo
use the people
de la mano de obra.
to do the labor, the
Van
manual
muy
labor.
bien estas obras
These works
y están trabajando
are working,
hombres y mujeres
male and female,
en estos caminos.
in these roads.
Por eso
That is why
nos sentimos
we feel
pues muy contentos
very happy
de que estén ustedes aquí.
that you are
Hacemos
here
el compromiso
to help us,
de seguir
and we make a commitment
protegiendo a las mujeres, de evitar
to help
homicidios a mujeres,
prevent homicides against women,
maltrato a mujeres,
bad treatment of women,
y es para nosotros una prioridad.
and for us it's a
el
priority,
que haya
a
igualdad,
priority that there
protección,
be equality and that
defensa
defense
de
of
las mujeres,
women,
hombres y mujeres
men and
de
women
México,
of Mexico,
del México de hoy.
of the Mexico of today.
Queremos llevar a cabo
We need to take this
la
to
cuarta
its
transformación
end, the
de la vida
fourth
pública de
transformation
nuestro país.
of our
y
country,
lo vamos a
and
lograr.
we're going to be able to accomplish
Yo,
it.
en lo que corresponde
Where I have to do
me
my
siento
part is
muy apoyado
where I do public
muy
service. I feel very
por
backed up
mujeres
and
con convicción
people with
que nos
conviction.
acompañan en el gobierno. Mujeres
I feel very supported.
inteligentes, mujeres honestas.
Women that are
mujeres
intelligent and
trabajadoras.
honest and hard
Que vivan
workers.
las mujeres. Muchas gracias.
Let women live. Thank you very much.
De esta manera,
In this
damos
way,
por finalizado este
we are
acto.
going to end this
Agradecemos a los distinguidos miembros del Presidium su amable
session,
asistencia.
and we're going to thank
Solicitamos
everybody.
a los invitados
Thank you.
permanecer en su lugar para continuar con la conferencia de prensa.
So now they're going to
Muchas
do the
gracias.
press conference. They said go ahead and stay seated.
A continuación, se realizará la presentación por parte de Víctor Manuel Toledo, secretario de Medio Ambiente y Recursos Naturales.
Natural resources or resources.
Muy buenos días, señor presidente. Muy buenos días, distinguida asistente. Muy buenos días, compañeros y compañeras de la prensa, de los medios de comunicación. Hoy, en esta mañana de mayo,
Today,
próxima al inicio de un nuevo ciclo de lluvias, me toca presentarme ante ustedes
So
como
he's
el nuevo
presenting
responsable de la
himself.
cuestión ambiental en México.
So he's the new responsible person for ambient situations in Mexico, and he says it's been raining, and today's his turn to talk.
Déjenme decirles
Let me
que
tell
la
you
cuestión o
that
preocupación ambiental
regarding
no
the
es más que la
question of
reaparición de la naturaleza
ambiental, I believe it's like environment, but let's see. It's ambient. Environmental. That's another word that I need to use more. Environmental. Ambiental. I'm sure he's going to be using it a bit. So he's involved with the environment protection. Okay. And nature. Mother Nature. The feminine. She is, Mother Nature is a force that humans have to take notice of and respect so that we can continue to exist. Something that has to be said that has been left in the forgotten or has been left forgotten. Like an entity that was life that has been in existence for 300,000 years. But not only with the coming of a modern life and materialism, technocrats, faith, so all these things that are hurting in the environment. So nature has become something that can be exploited and be abused. An external abuse in a capital with machines that are being examined by the cold eye, objectively cold, that is a science to the conviction of the pursuit of wealth. That's how it's been going for us. That's how it's been for us, and that's the way it's going, and it continues to go. This ecological conscience that consumes daily, day by day, to millions of humans all over the world. It permits us to visualize in a different way politics, or politics in a different way. There's 3 dimensions that I can see. First, ecological conscience or environmental, from right and left. So there's politics regarding pro and against life, and that those are leading us towards death. This global situation is or dilemma is being has been translated in politics that are lowering the temperature of climates, and there's politics that say it's being heated or overheated. As time passes, we will be continuing to define this in terms that are more understandable of what's happening with the environment. We're defending life. Either we're going to defend life or we're going to continue to destroy it. Aniquilar. Let me look at the word aniquilar. I know it means to completely destroy, but I can't think of the word. Whoops, I forgot my N. Aniquilar. Annihilate. Couldn't think of that word. Annihilate. It's aniquilar. Okay. So anyway, we're going to completely annihilate the world as we know it, our life, if we don't change our ways. In the name of the market, progress, development, and economical growth, and etc. The second is that we are seeing is that we're having to look at time from a different way. These are not the years, decades, or 6 years. Now we've got our eyes from one year to another. From the year, 30 years. For that, by that time, oh my goodness, at that time, there'll be 9 million, and petroleum will come to its end. The half time, so we expect that someday the petroleum will end. And then gas, carbon, and uranium. The climate change that we have had, even though we had been advised, let me look at the word advertido. Warned. Another word for advertido is warned. So we had been warned by scientists about the climate change for 2 decades, are generating catastrophes of every type. And then the food, the necessary food will have to be created under special agricultural commitments, and it will no longer be able to be made under these unhealthy situations. This, regarding that is being named by the current modern agricultural scheme in an industry. Third, it has to do with the exterior.
La verdadera naturaleza de las fuerzas profundas que provocan este panorama actual y de futuro próximo. Y he aquí que coincidimos con la cuarta transformación.
And so here we're coinciding with the fourth transformation. It's not just humans that are involved in this crisis, but also the environment, the superficial environment, and a critical science. But the responsible ones are a minority of minorities. Predatory and parasitic. And that minority has a name. That minority is known as neoliberals or neoliberalism. So, this is the vision that my judgment causes me to direct political ambience of the country and its executive institution or execution. It's a policy of emergency and protection of the vital elements of Mexicans that we require day to day, like an essential human right.
aire
air
respirable,
that's
agua para
breathable,
todos,
water for
energía
everyone, energy,
alternativa, no fósil,
alternative energy, not fossil fuel,
alimentos sanos, hábitats
a food that's healthy,
sanos,
habitat that's healthy,
reciclaje de desechos, hogares sustentables, ciudades
sustainable communities, sustainable homes,
ordenadas, pero también
But-
acciones urgentes que permitan detener
but also urgent policies that will help to hold
este transitar hacia
This-
el abismo
this transition to abismo. What's the word for abismo? Let me look that up. I know what it is, but I don't know how to explain it. Abismo. Abismo, okay. It's spelled abismo. Abyss. Yep. Abyss. Abismo. Okay, I guess, so you know that we're headed towards this abyss.
un destino al que tendrán que enfrentarse nuestros
This is a destiny that we will have to be confronted
hijos y nuestros nietos.
with for our children and our grandchildren.
Podremos lograrlo a través de la Secretaría de Medio Ambiente y Recursos.
We can accomplish this using the Secretary of, let me see, Environment. Medio ambiente is environment. That's a word I couldn't think of. So environmental
Naturales.
and natural environment.
Creo que sí.
But
Y
also I
antes que
think
todo
it
debemos
is.
recordar que la
And don't
Secretaría del Medio
we-
Ambiente surgió hace 25 años como una medida que ubicaba a México
And so we need to remember that 25 years ago this program was created to protect
en la tendencia
Mexico
mundial de
and-
disponer de instituciones
with a world interest to dispose of
y leyes en torno al asunto ambiental
and created laws and rules regarding the ambient use,
un fenómeno que coincidió con el inicio y despliegue del neoliberalismo
which also seem to be go on at the same time as neoliberalism was coming into effect
en todo el mundo
in all the
y que
world,
generó una contradicción que ha sufrido los países
and that has generated a contradiction that the countries have suffered,
y que en el caso de México alcanzó
and that in the case of Mexico reached
proporciones dramáticas.
dramatic proportions.
A través de los gobiernos neoliberales, la política
Via the neoliberal governments or politics
ambiental de México, que inició con bríos y con notables avances,
that started up with brilliant advances.
comenzó a perder aliento,
It started
se
to lose
estancó,
its
se fue
air and it got stuck.
desdibujando y terminó en descomposición,
That was just drawn up and then ended in destruction or decomposition
bajos presupuestos y actos de corrupción
via acts of corruption, and they took some low bids
inimaginables.
to
En el
imagine
sexenio anterior,
unimaginable proportions.
Por ejemplo,
For
la
example,
Semarnat ya no fue encabezada por funcionarios capacitados y calificados, sino por mercaderes del sector automotriz y por un vendedor de autos.
so now the environmental protections were no longer protected by people that were really concerned about the environment. It was now headed by someone that worked for a motor vehicle company
De lujo.
that created luxury vehicles.
Semarnat fue tomado
And Simernat was taken over by
tomado por esa minoría
by that.
depredador y rapaz
the minor group of rapaz. I keep forgetting what that word means, rapaz. I know it means something destructive, but I can't think of what it is. Rapacious? Rapaz. How about S? No. Well, it means like the rapists of the land, I guess, like that. Oh, maybe it's got two. Rapaz. I don't know. I don't see a translation here for rapaz, but I know it means that they like abused and took advantage.
que hoy destruye la naturaleza
They
y
are
el
now
ambiente por buena
they are now destroying the ambient
parte del país y del mundo.
for most of the environment in the world and in the countries and around the
Me
world.
refiero a las grandes corporaciones.
And I'm referring to these large corporations.
En el acto de mayor desvergüenza,
In an act of major embarrass or lack of shamelessness,
esto es muy importante,
which is very
la
important.
Semarnat junto con la SAGAR,
Sabernat, together with
hoy la SADER, se
Laser
pusieron del lado de las empresas biotecnológicas
became aligned with the corporations
en los tributos.
where it came to their to like the groups that were supposed to decide what was good for the environment. They were assigned to the very companies that they were supposed to be protecting them from.
Para detener la demanda legal.
So in order to hold back the legal demand on them.
Un grupo de 40 ciudadanos y varias organizaciones.
So this was a group of 40 citizens.
Campesinas interpusimos.
I'm sorry, a group of 40 citizens and local people were trying to fight against this situation.
Llegada del maíz transgénico en México hace.
And then they started sending the what do you call that, when the corn that was biochemically changed
4 años.
4 years ago.
La pérdida del maíz en México por contaminación
The loss of Mexico by contamination, genetic contamination,
de un proceso histórico de por lo menos 7
has been a problem of historical proportions
años.
for about 1,000 years
México
worth.
es hoy, digamos, soportado por la civilización
So Mexico today is supported by
mesoamericana.
that is the Mesoamerican people corporation.
Y este legado cultural, esta historia, como nos ha señalado el presidente,
So this delegation, as signaled by the president,
es fundamental.
is fundamental.
Necesitamos pues rescatar a la Semarnat de esa
So we need to rescue Sabernat from
inercia
from
para
this
ponerla al servicio de la sociedad.
this inertia that has put it at the hands or the service of.
Sociedad mexicana. Necesitamos promover leyes contra el fracking.
We need to move towards laws that will prevent fracking
Contra el maíz transgénico y otros
and against what's that word? I can't think of the word anyway. Where they have changed the DNA of corn. I can't think of the word. I'm sorry.
cultivos, por el agua para el uso humano, por
For water, for human use,
la defensa de la biodiversidad, etcétera, etcétera.
and etc. For things with bio consequences.
¿Qué tenemos de nuestro lado?
What do we have on our side?
Muchos y muchos.
Lots of
Primeramente,
people,
un
and
gobierno antineoliberal
we have a government that's anti-neoliberal
sustentado por 30 millones de votos
that was backed by 30 million votes,
y una sociedad cada vez más consciente
and a society that's more conscious of what's going on every day.
Que aglutina desde cientos, quizás miles de comunidades indígenas en resistencia.
That is comprised of hundreds of communities indigent that are sustained,
ante los proyectos depredadores,
that are fighting against deprecating projects,
que llamamos aquí el México profundo, que además ahí están
that we are taking care of here in Mexico, that profoundly,
las claves en todo el
that
mundo
we
para
have,
salir de la crisis del mundo
that
moderno.
we are looking towards the whole world to fight against this crisis.
Hasta sectores urbanos,
Even
jóvenes de universidades,
urban sectors, young student from universities,
resistencias barriales,
resistances from the local communities,
maestros democráticos que me consta
democratic teachers that I am well aware of
han hecho esfuerzos para
have made very, they've struggled very hard to
generar una conciencia ecológica
to generate a ecological conscience
entre los niños de las primarias en el país.
from the young children and primary children in the country.
La iglesia
Church,
católica que sigue la
Catholic
teología
Church,
de la liberación ecológica a partir de la promulgación de la encíclica Laudato Si. Debemos entonces, creo, volcar a la Semarnat hacia los ciudadanos y hacia los
So we need to turn CyberNet towards the citizens and towards
colectivos.
Collective
Debemos ciudadanizar la política
we need to make politics regarding this a citizen generated or controlled
ambiental.
for the
El
environment.
país también dispone
The country also has at its disposition
de los suficientes talentos,
sufficient talented people
expertos y
and
especialistas
experts
en
and
ciencia
specialists in science
para fundamentar técnicamente las decisiones
to fundamentally and technically support the decisions
y las acciones de la
and
Semarnat.
actions of the week of CyberNet,
Y para alcanzar una ciencia para la sustentabilidad
and to obtain or reach a science for the sustainability
con ética y
with
con conciencia.
ethics and conscience, good
Vamos a
conscience.
procurar resarcir esta calidad
We are seeking to gain this quality,
científica y tecnológica.
effective and technological.
Y con eso termino, es practicar el diálogo.
We need to practice
Como nos lo ha
dialogue,
mostrado y
how we're
demostrado
going
el
to say,
presidente
as
López
we've
Obrador
been demonstrated by our president, López Obrador,
en estos meses.
in these months.
Solo la crítica y la autocrítica
Only criticism and auto-criticism, in other words, criticizing ourselves,
bien templada
that's
logrará
well-tempered,
madurar a la sociedad
will allow society to mature,
mexicana.
the Mexican society to mature.
Agradezco finalmente desde mi corazón,
And
señor
I
presidente,
am
de este
thankful
maravilloso
from my
país, su confianza
heart,
y amistad.
your
Muchas gracias.
confidence and friendship. Okay, so it looks like, gosh. So I guess it's the president's turn. Okay, so now he's going to start.
Concluimos esta primera etapa.
So we'll conclude this first phase.
Tenemos todavía tiempo
We still have time
para
for
contestar preguntas
questions
y respuestas.
and answers.
Empezamos por acá.
So we'll start on this side.
Sí.
Gracias, buenos días, señores, buenos días, señor presidente. Alejandro Lero de la REA Grupo Cantón. Preguntarle, el próximo
I
viernes
let them
cumple
introduce
ya 6
themselves,
meses
you
de
can hear.
gobierno.
So he's been
Sobre
6
los
months
avances,
of
sobre los
government.
logros, hemos escuchado mucho. Tan solo ayer escuchamos 4 aquí,
Yesterday
becas
we
a
heard,
estudiantes,
yesterday,
universidades. Quisiera preguntarle en un ejercicio
I'd like to ask you in an
de
exercise
honestidad, de autocrítica, que no es
of
fácil
autocriticism.
para nadie, que nos pudiera comentar
Can you
cuáles son
comment
los
to us
5 traspiés, los
which are
5
the 5
tropiezos
um,
que ha tenido
stumbling blocks
durante estos primeros
that you've had
6 meses de
during
gobierno,
these
si fuera tan amable,
first 6
presidente?
months, if you would be so kind?
Bueno, como en todo gobierno,
Like in every government,
hay
there is
dificultades.
difficulties.
Tengo que decir
I have to say
gracias
thank
a
you
la vida
to life
porque
because
nos ha ido muy bien,
we've had, it's
Estoy
gone very well for us.
optimista.
I'm optimist.
sin triunfalismos. Éramos un país con
We have
mucho atraso,
we had a
muchos problemas
country with lots of
graves,
problems, great problems,
nacionales, pero,
national problems.
estoy
But I am
seguro de que vamos a
sure that
sacar
we are
a nuestro
going to
querido
go
México
forward with our
de,
beloved Mexico
el atolladero
out of this hole
en que
in
lo
which
metieron.
that they put it in.
Vamos a sacar a nuestro pueblo y es lo
We'll
más
take our
importante
people out of
de la
this,
pobreza,
out
de
of
la
poverty
marginación,
and
de la
margins,
inseguridad y de la
insecurity and violence.
violencia. Vamos bien.
We are doing well,
Tenemos el propósito
and we have a purpose
de ayudar, de
to
no
help
perjudicar a
and
nadie.
not cause
Es un
anybody any
gobierno
problems.
Humanista,
It's a humanist
encima de
government
todo.
above all.
por eso
That's why.
sí puedo
That's why I
confesar
can say and confess
que de las cosas que más
that
me han
the things
dolido
that bothered me the most
fue
was
lo de la pérdida
the loss of
de habitantes
inhabitants
de Hidalgo
of Hidalgo
con la explosión
with the
que se
explosion
produjo
that was produced
por este
by this
tema del
theme
robo
of
de
gas
combustible. Eso
theft.
me afectó mucho.
That affected me very
Me dolió.
much. It hurt me,
Me sigue doliendo.
and it still continues to hurt me.
Todos los días
Every
tengo
day
que
I
ver
have to see
casos difíciles.
these difficult
es lo que
situations.
más me
That is
impacta.
what impacts me the
Pero
most.
también
However,
en este
also
tiempo
at this time,
he podido
I have been able to
constatar
um,
que tenemos un
relate
pueblo
that we have a
extraordinario,
extraordinary
un pueblo
people,
lleno de
a people full of
amor, de
life,
fraternidad,
of love and fraternity,
y no solo eso,
and not only that,
un pueblo politizado,
a
consciente,
public
podido
that's politically aware.
constatar, reafirmar mi convicción
And I can confirm my
que,
conviction that
lo que se produjo
that which was
a
produced
partir de las elecciones
Re-
del año pasado
last year's
fue
elections,
la consumación
the
de una
consumption
nueva mentalidad,
of a new mentality.
la instauración de una nueva mentalidad en el pueblo de México.
That is the restoration of a new mentality.
Entonces, eso es un tesoro
That is a treasure,
muy
a
importante,
very
favorable.
important
Acerca
treasure.
de los errores que nos hemos
Regarding
cometido,
the
seguramente
errors that have been
son
committed.
tantos
There's so many.
nuestros críticos
Our critiques,
que les dejo a ellos
our critics, that I'll let
esa
them,
encomienda,
let them do the job.
que ellos
They can tell us
se
what
ocupen
they can
de
take care of,
señalarlo como
letting
lo hacen,
us know what our
en
errors
uso
are.
de sus
I'm sure
derechos,
that's
y lo
within their
seguirán
rights,
haciendo,
and they'll continue to do
porque
so,
no va a haber censura,
because there will be no
no
censorship.
se va a limitar
It will
a
not be
nadie
limited for
su
no one.
derecho de
Their right
manifestación,
to manifest
se va a garantizar
will be
siempre
guaranteed always.
el derecho a disentir.
The right to dissension.
Gracias, señor presidente. La segunda pregunta.
And the second
Se ha levantado
question,
en los últimos días mucha polémica en este
there has been lots
tema
of
de la
questions
publicidad oficial. Recuerdo que decía el escritor
regarding
Carlos
some
Monsiváis,
official
cuando en aquella
problem.
época se utilizaban gacetillas, decía él que esté libre de culpa, que arroje la primera gacetilla. El
Something
modelo
about
de
he who is
publicidad oficial, cuando ustedes llegan al
not
gobierno,
guilty
se
to
habían
throw the
gastado
first
10,000
stone.
millones ustedes lo reducen a la mitad, menos de la mitad, 4,000 aproximadamente. También había un camino de dejarlo en cero, ¿no? Que no hubiera publicidad oficial. Este camino intermedio es más o menos parecido al modelo francés de un esquema de financiamiento, de apoyo de los medios. Sin embargo, señor presidente, las reglas todavía dejan ahí un lugar a cierta discrecionalidad, sobre todo en el punto que dice que van a decidir también en base a la credibilidad y a la percepción social que tengan los
Something
medios.
it has to do with
Una credibilidad. ¿No cree que podría crearse alguna comisión ciudadana, un
he says
comité ciudadano
they should create
que
a
pudiera
commission
determinar con mucha claridad cuáles son los criterios, pero de manera muy objetiva y clara,
subjective
para que no de pronto podamos terminar en el
so they
te
can
pago para que no me pegues, o como decía el clásico de
So
López
that-
Portillo, yo no te pago para que me pegues. Podríamos
So he
tener
says
alguna
that they
posibilidad
need
de
to
un
figure
comité
out
en ese sentido,
some
señor
committee
presidente.
that would be
Ya
in charge
tenemos
of
una
dealing with
definición
the
de
situation
criterios en cuanto a eso.
of
Los vamos a dar a conocer.
dealing with, you
Ya
know,
están
the
definidos.
way the
Eh,
press is, or the
tenemos que
media is
garantizar el
being
derecho a la
used,
información.
but they have to guarantee the right
Y,
to information.
Hay que
And
llevar
we-
a cabo campañas
And we need to
de
take
información
campaigns of
en
information.
medios. Además,
And also,
tenemos que
we also have to
apoyar
um,
a medios
back
de
up
información
the
por,
mediums for
su
information
función
because of
social.
their social function.
Es
It's
un criterio
it's a criteria
sin
without
pedirles
without asking
que se
that
limiten
they limit
en cuanto
what they
a la crítica.
regarding
al gobierno.
critiquing.
No es
It is not
entregar recursos
to
que
give
son
them
de todo el
recourses
pueblo,
that belong to all the people
para
for that
proteger o
to
para
protect
aplaudir
or to applaud
al gobierno.
to the government
No
or for the government.
queremos
We don't want to do
ese
that,
tipo de prensa,
that type of
de
press.
ese tipo de medios.
Or that
Queremos una
type of media.
prensa
If we need,
independiente, libre,
we want
profesional,
a professional, independent, free,
lo más cercano
the
que
closest
se
thing
pueda
to
al pueblo
the people,
y lo más distante
and the most
que se
distant
pueda
that
del poder.
from the power
Eso
and
hemos
from the
pensado
people.
siempre,
I've always said
y
this,
así vamos a seguir.
and that's how we're going to continue.
Entonces nunca va a haber el yo no te pago para que me pegues.
Nunca, jamás.
So he says, I'll never pay them to
y
not say what
no
they
solo eso,
want about me. And I'm also
respetamos
saying, we
a
respect
nuestros críticos,
our critiquers,
respetamos hasta
our critics.
a los que
We even respect those
nos calumnian,
that are saying lies against
los
us.
respetamos.
We still respect them
Porque
because
no nos sentimos indefensos.
we don't feel defenseless.
Hablaba yo de un cambio de mentalidad.
I was talking about a change in
El que se
mentality.
excede.
Those that are in excess in actuality.
Se afecta a
If
sí mismo.
they are affecting themselves.
Así están las cosas.
That's the way things are
En México,
in Mexico.
con todo respeto,
With all my respect,
son muy pocos los países en el mundo
there's very few countries in the
que
world
tienen
that have
eh, tanta gente
so many people
con un nivel de conciencia
with a level of consciousness
tan alto
so high
como
as
México.
Mexico.
Ese es el cambio.
That is the change.
Estamos hablando de millones
We're talking about millions
de mujeres, de
of
hombres
men and women
libres,
that are
conscientes.
free, conscious.
Fue un despertar
It was an awakening
ciudadano.
of citizens.
Es muy difícil
It is very hard
que esto
that these
se dé en otras partes.
this would happen somewhere else.
Y es más alentador
And it's more fulfilling. Oh my. Not fulfilling, alentador. What's a word for
es un
alentador?
cambio progresista.
That it's a
vez de retrocesos, aquí estemos avanzando.
encouraging, alentador is encouraging. It's
Hacia
encouraging,
una sociedad más justa, más
alentador.
fraterna, más igualitaria.
So there's more fraternity, democratic, more,
Ese es el cambio.
that's the change.
Aquí
Here,
casi hasta podríamos decir
we can almost say
que
that,
está
that,
prohibido
that it's
prohibir.
prohibited to prohibit.
Aquí
Here,
es la misma
it's
sociedad
the same society
ayuda.
of the community. Okay, so it's ended. Yay! Because that was hard. I had to try to get the stuff that is written all around the you know, in this I'm sorry, so I'm trying to close this out because because I don't want it to be on anymore. But anyway, I just wanted to share with you guys that this really was a difficult situation because the president was asked not to transmit his program due to the elections by the Department of Transparency or something like that. So it made it very difficult to find a program that I could record from. And I hope that there's not going to be a problem since it's the only one that's available, that there won't be a problem with, you know, them saying that, you know, copyright or whatever. Because unfortunately, I want to be able to translate it to English for those people that do not speak Spanish, and I hope that they understand that I'm not trying to take advantage of anything. I'm just trying to help to prevent the light of what's going on in Mexico from being obscured. So I really feel that this was really something that they're trying to do to set a precedent in order to block the transmission via the World Wide Web in the future, and especially around election time and like in 2021. So it's, you know, hopefully the president is able to get around their trickery, because it seems to me a trickery for them. I don't see how this would this could affect their voting, you know, because they're trying to say that when the president speaks, it's like a propaganda, and somehow would negatively affect some of the people that are running for positions in government, etc. So I think it's just really kind of a trickery thing, you know, where they're trying to take advantage of this of the president's, you know, very honorable way, you know, and how he is willing to do whatever it takes to be honorable. And since they're requesting this, that's what he's doing. But I really think that they're going out of their way to be difficult and to try and set a precedent to block the president from doing his daily addresses, which would never be considered propaganda. He's just letting you know what's going on in the country, keeping the people well informed, so that they can know what's available to them, and so that they can be ready to deal with whatever's going on and use whatever is at their disposal, and also to help, you know, with protecting the government, protecting women, all the different areas that he's trying to help with. In any case, thank you very much for watching, and I'm sorry if I'm blabbering on, but just so you know, that this was a particularly difficult one to record because of the situation with, you know, the president not being able to record from his own cameras, so made it difficult. But anyway, it's handled, and hopefully it turns out okay, and it's going to be a little later than the live show because I had to take it from there. but it's coming. So I'm going to work on just doing a little bit of piecing together, because I had to interrupt it in the middle of the transmission because someone came over and started making sounds. So I'm going to see if I can fix that, and then we'll it'll be on. Okay, thank you. Okay, I made an error there. I gotta stop.